of seconds. Just putting this on our YouTube channel. And great. Okay, it looks like it's broadcasting live over here. Fantastic. So let's see. As it might be a bit confusing, by the way, right? Is this how it's going to be? Interesting. Okay, it looks like it's. One second, I'm just trying to set this up for our session. Give me a few seconds. Okay, so I see what it does. Leslie, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary? Okay, hold on, because that's not going to work for us. I'm going to do something different. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're just broadcasting live to our YouTube channel, so we're playing with the buttons over here. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, hopefully that's going to work, right?
You're asking me?
We're all good. Perfect. Okay, so thanks for joining, everybody. And we have some live crowd here in Calabasas. And Mary, do you have some people out there in LA Harbor? Okay, I'm gonna. There you go. Perfect. Yes. And Leslie sitting in the conference room in Long Beach, right?
Long Beach.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so amazing group of agents, and we want to focus today. We have those monthly masterminds that slowly but surely going back in person and together. Some face-to-face time, and we want to just brainstorm and chat about habits of successful realtors, successful agents. And I have Nina Alexander here from our Calabasas office, Mary King on the screen from our LA Harbor office, Leslie Campos from our Long Beach office. Thank you, ladies, for making yourself available and joining us to share a little bit about yourself. So let's do kind of quick round. Give us some quick background about your elevator pitch, if you may. Yeah, Nina, go for it.
Mary, go for it. Okay. Am I going first?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been with Keller Williams for 3.5 years. I got my license at the beginning, and my elevator pitch. Well, I've definitely grown a lot from year one. Now I'm going into my fourth year. My elevator pitch would just be, I really don't have a pitch. I would just say that, from the books that I've read, people know within seconds, if not minutes, if they want to work with you. So it's all about just being yourself, being natural, not trying to reinvent the wheel. I come from contribution always, and I attribute that to a lot of my success with my clients and continued success. It's just being your authentic self.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Nina.
Thank you.
Good job. Mary, talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, guys. Mary King. I've been with KW, actually almost the same as Nina, going on my fourth year as well. And prior to real estate, I was in corporate America for 10 years. So as you can imagine, it was a huge change. But with that background, I was in business development for the Western region. So I was able to utilize my experiences in my old career and utilize it to my new career, my business. And, and I'm very grateful to be here. And obviously being with the Keller Williams family, it's a phenomenal feeling, and I'm sure you all can attest to this, hence why we're all here. It's been very, very fortunate. My business has always been about our clients knowing that, we are a solution provider. We don't sell products, right? Honestly, but we sell solution, and that's what home buying is and home selling is providing a solution to our clients. That's why they hire us. So thank you.
Good job. Well said, Mary. Thank you. Leslie.
So this is my second going into third year in real estate. Prior to this, I was in travel and transportation in the IT industry, and I did that off and on for 20 plus years. So I definitely was familiar with customer service, so to speak. But I agree with Nina. I mean, in this industry, I think it's about being yourself and being true to who you are as a person and what service you're going to provide. When I first came on board, I was part of a team, and I was trying to fit into the mold of what the team's expectations were about, you know, looking a certain way, dressing a certain way, interacting with your clients in a certain way. And that just wasn't me. And as a result, I think I didn't come off as confident. And since branching off from that team, I have found, you know, my niche, so to speak, and have decided who I want to be as an agent. And I think that it's working for me. I've had people coming at me from all directions now all of a sudden as a result of it. I say that because I think that I'm now exuding a confidence that I didn't have before. So find who you want to be as an agent and stay true to that. Don't listen to anybody else. You know what you have to offer and go out and offer it.
I love that, you know, and that's pretty much just also a great kind of segue to my first question, right? You know, like in this industry or every other industry, when you're making that kind of transition, if you may, sometimes you tend to, you know, seek that identity, right? Or your identity as this individual. So talking about real estate, right? All of us came from or transitioned from like one industry to becoming realtors, right? So how do you, two-part question. First of all, hey, Taryn in Long Beach. First of all is, how do you see yourself as a salesperson or as a businesswoman? And the second part is, when did it trigger, when did it register that, you know what, I'm actually running a business and this is who I am, right? Like you just kind of mentioned, Leslie, to, in a nutshell. When did that kind of register? Open mic.
Mm-hmm. For me personally, I 100% see this as a business. I don't see myself as a salesperson. I see myself as a businesswoman. I have a nuclear medicine background. I was in that industry for 10 years, and it was very, you're working with science. And so it's completely different than real estate. So coming into real estate, 2018 and even 2019, you're learning so much and you're just absorbing everything, and that never stops. But for me, coming from a completely different background, and it was sales in that industry because I was essentially selling radioactive material, but I was also teaching my clients about the material that they were buying. So it's essentially kind of the same, but just a different product.
Radio or radioactive?
Radioactive.
Oh, that's what I was going.
I can't tell you how many times I heard that one. So this industry for me, 2018, 2019 personally, it was just absorbing and learning and just wanting to kind of immerse myself in everything. And then 2020 was really the shift for me, where I was able, I guess, to kind of see myself like, wow, this is really huge, because I didn't really know what was going to happen with 2020 and COVID. So many things just happened in that year that I didn't know how this year was going to be for me. Ended up being my best year. What a businesswoman means to me is ownership. I have complete ownership in my business. I have complete control and which way I decide to go and how I decide to grow it. And not only in that, me just growing it, but just the positivity that radiates from each of us and the growth that we're able to now project and help others. For me, giving back in any way that I can, helping my mentees, learning from my mentees, learning from all the leaders, the Stephanies, the Mannies, Leslie and Mary King on this call, just learning from each and every one of you. That is something that we all are so fortunate, because then we can give back and help others. So it's much more than what you could even imagine if you're open to it. So for me, 100% businesswoman. here to help, here to serve, and here to protect my clients.
Love it. Awesome.
So I guess I'll go next.
Who's next? Digesting.
Still thinking about my answer.
Right. That was a hard one to follow, by the way.
Yeah, I might want to go first.
Go for it.
So for myself, I definitely see myself as a businesswoman. But I will say that when I started this business, I really had a focus and a perspective of that I was a salesperson. And I think that, again, came from being a part of the team that I was on and the perspective of what my need was to provide as somebody as part of this team. I needed to go out there, I needed to work, I needed to get clients, and I needed to produce. And I think since leaving, it has put me in a different mindset because now all of a sudden, I have to do things for myself. I'm not part of this team where there's expectations and criteria and goals, so to speak, that I have to meet. I now have to meet my own goals. And for me, I don't want to sound spoiled. It's just the reality of my life. I'm fortunate to be in a position where I have a husband who makes a good income and he makes enough to sustain us. So I'm in a place also because I'm almost 50. I'm kind of at that point of like, don't care. And so for me, I want my goals to be driven by the happiness of my clients. I want to make sure that their needs are met and fulfilled rather than a dollar amount or a number of transactions. I don't want my goals to be wrapped around that. So for me, if I can get a 5-star review from a client who was not somebody I knew and was not a referral, then I feel like that's more self-satisfying to me and my purpose at this point in my life. So as far as business goes, I now see it as me having to build a team. I have reps and vendors that I work with, and I have agents in the office that I've started collaborating with. I'm working closely with the mentees because since I am so close to being them, I'm only 2 years in. I only have a handful of transactions behind me. I remember what it's like to come in, which I think maybe a lot of the seasoned agents forget. They've been doing this for so long. The industry has changed, over the years. It has evolved in terms of how you go about getting business. Everything's through technology nowadays. So I know what it's like to feel lost. I know what it's like to not have direction or know what your purpose is or how to even tackle that first client and that first transaction. And so I have this need to give back. And so I find myself gravitating towards those mentees that are coming on board and trying to have purpose for them as well. It's where my heart is. It falls in my clients and it falls in my coworkers. And I do see us as a team. So even though at the end of the day, we're all technically competitors in the same market, in this field, I don't see them like that. I see them as coworkers and as a team, and I go and I try to bond with them and I try to build with them and we collaborate together. And I think more than ever, I'm enjoying that aspect of this career than anything else right now. So.
That's awesome. Good stuff, Leslie.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I agree both with Leslie and not agree, but we're all in the same, the same kind of mentality. Being a businesswoman or having your own business is, it can be daunting, it can be difficult, but with perseverance and consistency, that's how we move forward. Being a salesperson is, anybody technically can be a salesperson. We can go out there and sell, right? But running a business is a whole different ballgame. And, and you're right, not being on a team, there's nobody holding you accountable. It's yourself. And being in this business, you have to hold yourself accountable. If you're not executing your goals, and if you're not knocking off those, those items on your checklist, it's going to continue growing. The next thing you know, it's out of control. And that's when, we see it all the time where people start taking their foot off the brakes or the gas, and that's when it slows down. And then they wonder what happened. But that's because there isn't anybody else telling you, hey, you need to continue doing this, you need to move forward in doing that. And that is the business aspect of it, whether it's real estate or anything else. In regards to the salesperson aspect, yes, we do have to generate leads. It's kind of a business development role, right? I mean, we nourish our clients. We have to make sure that they're taken care of. They are our priority, but we have to do it in a sensitive setting, so to speak, and each client is so different. I mean, every transaction is so different. So that's where not only your salesperson skills, but also your business skills, being able to navigate through all that in one transaction or multiple at the same time. So it's very, very, it can be challenging, but the good news is that you're in this business for those challenges, and we take it in strides, and we help each other out and keep pushing forward. I remember when I first started, I'm so grateful for my mentor personally. She taught me so much, and we couldn't get through my first year without her. I would be very honest. It was very daunting. But now I'm telling my mentees that it's okay. I've been where you're at. I was scared out of my mind on my first listing presentation, on my buyer's presentation. It's okay. Let's just take a deep breath. Let's step back. Let's look at what you're doing. Let's reevaluate it. But at the same time, don't overthink it. I mean, don't make the process complicated. Do we have resources? It's already in place. Nina mentioned this early on. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just keep on pushing forward and make sure that you do know you have a great team behind you, and don't be scared. Even us, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, like Leslie. I mean, we're technically now almost considered veteran agents because we're no longer that first year rookie. Right. So don't ever be afraid, and just know that this business is very lucrative, hence why we're in real estate. But also just know that you're also here to help our clients, and that's where the humanity portion of it kicks in, because we're here to help people make the second biggest decision of their lives aside from meeting their spouse, right? And it's a very big investment. So you make them feel comfortable, and just know that you're doing everything that you can, and you're doing the best that you can. At least I hope so. Just put it all out there. It's okay.
Awesome, Mary. That was great content and inspiring as well. And I have to commend all of you as well, in the sense that your different backgrounds, right? Different experiences, and all of you somewhat in the same kind of years in the business, and you're going places, right? That's going to be big as well in how you build it and how big it's going to be, but also what kind of person you are today and what kind of person you're going to become in part of the process, right? And all of that unique energy with that spice of leadership and true ownership. That's why I want to ask you separately as well, like, hey, business owner, salesperson, we're doing sales. That's what we do, selling, our value, etc., brokering deals. But when your mindset is such that you're going about it as a business owner, it's very different than being just a salesperson, right? and you added a lot of good content. Share once again, whatever, no specific order. How do you go about your daily routine? Maybe some of you already have set routines, some of you still trying to figure it out. And also, as you know, there are some tasks that always repeating for us to get business, to go after business. And some things we always have to, evolve into, reinvent, find out, because this industry is changing all the time. So who wanted to, do you mind sharing about your daily routine, or how do you go about that, if anything?
I'll go ahead and go. So for me, I like to have my schedule for the upcoming week planned out the week before. So I kind of go through, I know every day I lead gen. And then on the weekends, I'm also, pretty much, every day I'm lead gen. So that's always in there in my schedule, no matter what. I'm always finding the time, and I block that in. Like typically my cold calling lead gen would be in the morning. My open houses would be on the weekend. And then I do my follow-up calls usually in the afternoon, depending on what my last notes are on the clients. I also like to fit in, this is something that I just started doing with my calendar, is fitting in personal time. Obviously last year, I don't think any of us went anywhere except for many. Just kidding.
I did.
But I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed, I was home. I just hunkered down.
Oh yeah, I went to the office every day. That's true.
So I'm starting to have more personal, I'm starting to be more aware that I need to also calendar my personal time and make that a priority. Stephanie has really been big in our top producing mindset calls, that it's really important that you have a balance. And that's something that I struggled with pretty much the entire time I've been in real estate, because I just want, I want it so bad and I want to build it and grow it. So I kind of put that on the back burner. So that is something that I am actively working on to just make sure, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. So I feel like the schedule is really important, to follow it as much as you can. For me personally, to have it scheduled in there. And if something at the end of the day I can see that I didn't get to, I can push it into the next day. So that's for me, like the lead gen is top priority, because that's where my business is coming from. And it's just making those calls, the care calls. That was something that we talked a great deal about at the beginning of 2020 when the whole pandemic happened, about just making those care calls and really coming from a place of just concern, genuine concern. And that's something that I was doing prior to COVID, but now I'm really, conscious about it and aware about it, because I feel that people are still, everyone's scenario is so different, and you want people to know that you're coming from a place of real, genuine concern. So I definitely have my care calls in there, my lead gen, personal, and my training. My training is hugely important to have that blocked in there too. So Bold is coming up. So I have Bold plugged in for Monday from 8:45 to 12. With a little bit of a buffer. So I know that if I'm talking to, fellow agents, mentees, I have that little bit of a buffer. So I feel like it's important also to have your trainings in there as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Training is important. I think that's kind of my schedule. I'm fortunate. My personal time, it's locked in. It's definitely the business as well. I guess for me, I kind of, call it fell off a little bit. I just got back to the US, so I was actually overseas for a couple of years, and so I'm now getting back. So for me, I'm kind of relaunching at the moment, which is kind of perfect timing with Bold and with Mega Camp around the corner. And so my schedule now, it's all about, scheduling my rebrands, making sure that, I need to be where I'm at, contacting all my old clients, letting them know I'm back home, and I'm here and ready to serve as well. In addition to that, I am retaking all my training classes as if I was a brand new agent, because like you said, like literally 2 years is a long time. And man, talking about the rules and the regulations has changed so much. Every time I get an email from Car, I'm like, what the flying cupcake is this? So,
So what'd you say? Flying cupcake. I brought some cake.
Later, I promise. But it's and you're right, training is very important. And obviously attending some of the Ignite classes that our offices host as well. I did see many's emails in regards to the masterminds in the morning. I know I need to jump on those as well. So that's very important. Lead generation is absolutely key. I just haven't done any new clients, because I do have a huge database that I'm just touching them again, and just again letting them know how's their family doing. And with COVID, I mean, what a great outlet. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but wow, talking about a great outlet and reaching out and go, how are you doing? We're not talking about business. How's your kids? How's your mom? How's your dad? And God, these clients, I mean, some of them, they haven't talked to anyone in so long, and all they wanted to do was they just wanted someone as a soundboard, and all you do is just have to be there for them. And that's so important. And that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Just my schedule is pretty packed, just making sure that I'm getting back on track.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Mary.
So nobody should probably take my advice.
What is
when it
that?
comes to this.
Sounds like fine.
That's good too. We like it.
I've definitely a wagon, so to speak, when it comes to scheduling and keeping a calendar. You know, in my old career, time blocking was very important, but my day was also filled with one meeting after another and after another. So a little bit of me doesn't like that kind of life. And again, you have to do what works for you, and you will figure that out as you go through the business. Now, for me, you know, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants through my day, and I have a general idea of what needs to be done, and I do keep a physical to-do list. I very much like old school pen and paper. So I do keep a to-do list, and, you know, I tackle those things one by one, and I prioritize them. And whatever's left at the end of the day, well, there's tomorrow. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world. As long as my clients' needs have been met, the other things can kind of fall by the wayside a little bit. I look for the training emails that come out at the start of the week, and I prioritize which of those I feel I absolutely must attend. You know, I started doing the lead gen with Hallie here in the office for cold calling. That's out of my comfort zone. I was adamant at the start of my business, I was not going to cold call. And I've been doing that. And I'm not going to say I've been successful, because most people don't answer my calls, but I'm doing it. And, you know, that's kind of key in this business, is you have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. I'm not big on door knocking, and yet I've started doing some of that as well. So, you know, I'm not really sure why I joined this industry, if I'm going to be truthfully honest, because being social is not me. I am a creature of comfort. I am good in my own small social circle, but in a general environment, I am a wallflower. And so to be in a position where I have to go out and I have to talk to strangers and I have to interact with people, it's all out of my comfort zone. So again, you will find ways to work through those things. You know, my calendar does fill up quite quickly on a day-to-day basis, because like I said, once you put it out there in the universe that this is something you're going to do, and you prioritize it, and you start making that to-do list, and you start taking action, sorry, pardon my English, shit just happens. Like it finds you. Business comes to you. And like I said before, it's coming from me at all angles, where I almost am to the point of feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And sometimes in my own head, I say things like, I can't even imagine being Allison Van Wig when she has 80 transactions in a slow year. And I'm thinking, crap, I just need to try and close one transaction without feeling overwhelmed by these other buyers or showings or whatever it might be. So I look forward to my business growing like that, and finding a way of navigating, you know, what works for me, so that I can have 80 transactions in a slow year. You know, I look forward to those moments, but for right now, I'm just kind of winging it, to be honest. You know, I'm not sure that time blocking is absolutely what works for me. I'm somebody who doesn't like being pigeonholed into specific tasks like that. You know, I am a bit of a procrastinator sometimes. So if a task is on my calendar and I don't like it and it's not a priority, I'm not gonna lie, I might actually just change the time and say, I'll do that tomorrow. So eventually it gets tackled. But that's why maybe nobody followed my plan. It's not ideal.
And you're awesome for being so vulnerable and open and sharing exactly how it is, because you know, we always want to learn from one another, what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work, and also like how we evolve right through that journey, because we're gonna have this mastermind. Let's say with 3 of you a year from today, you guys are gonna bring a whole different question, right? And on the side note, I'm gonna make sure to tell Alison Van Wig that 80 deals are a slow year for her, coming from Leslie. Done deal. So, yeah, I know. Yeah, that was awesome. But you see, it just shows you that there's not one way to go about success. It's a journey, right? And you know, Leslie right now running, you know, her daily by a checklist. You know, that might be how she's going about things on a regular basis moving forward. That's working for her, or that might change at some point because of who knows what, right? So it's all about just be transparent and, you know, say exactly how it is and learning from one another, right? So anything else to add?
No.
Nina said no. So here's another question, right? And Leslie, you kind of touched it a little bit. What are your strengths, or what is your strength, or what are your strengths? What is your super powers, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh boy. So I have the superpower of getting my clients to do what I want them to do. I'm just I think my strengths would be my communication skills, my listening skills. There's a great book called Ninja Selling, where it just really talks about how to effectively listen, not listen to respond, but listen to really understand. A lot of people are so quick to, and just let them finish. Like really take it in, just let them talk for 10 minutes. We should be doing 20%. And they should be doing 80% of the talking. So I would say that my strength is definitely listening, paying attention to body language, understanding, and also just being proactive, like knowing, anticipating the client's needs, giving top-notch customer service is really key to me, and setting myself apart from other agents. We've got 1 million agents in California, or however many. We've got amazing teachers, we've got amazing police officers, we've got horrible police officers and horrible teachers and horrible agents. So I think it's just kind of going back to like the beginning of this training, be your authentic you. Not everyone's gonna like you, and that's okay. I don't need everyone to like me. The ones that connect with me are the ones I'm supposed to be connected with. The ones that want to work with me are the ones I'm supposed to work with. No one can take that from me. I'm not threatened by anyone. And I feel like as agents and as women, especially, and this isn't to come off as a sexist comment, but as women, we should always be building each other, always helping to support and build each other, no matter what. And something key that I learned early in my first year, our job is not to sell. Our job is to protect the client. So if you go into this industry and you're thinking, I want the best for my client, I'm gonna fully advise them, do my due diligence the whole way through, completely be transparent and honest all the time, you're doing right by your client. If you're coming from an area where you're just thinking about yourself and you're thinking about the money, it's not good. And that can't sit well with you. And if it does, then okay. But for me personally, I'm doing it for the reasons of protection, and I'm doing it for the reasons of the relationship building. So my strength for me is the relationship. Building solid relationships with my clients to where I'm not threatened about Mary King, the amazing Mary King and the amazing Leslie taking them from me because they're mine. You know, that's the kind of relationship I have with my clients, that I got you, you got me, we're in this together, we're gonna get it done.
Awesome.
Yeah, and definitely don't ever be afraid. I agree with you on that. You know, we're all here to support each other, and clients do stick with the agents that they do feel comfortable with and that they do build a relationship with. That is absolutely 100% true. For me, my strength, I would say, is my personality. You know, I can come off a little strong sometimes, but my clients like that. They you know, they kind of like us to, or at least for my clients, they're, you know, the word that one gentleman told me was, I'm okay with you roughing me up a little bit. Tell me what I need to do to get it ready, right? So he's okay with that. And, you know, and also just making sure that, you know, they know I don't mind getting my hands dirty. If I have to go and, you know, help box a 4-bedroom house, I'm going to be there. My hair will be up and I will be in sweatpants with you, hand in hand. And I load 3 pods moving out of country for a client, and I will be there with the bottle too. So, I think for me, again, my strength, and, it's just basically that I don't mind doing the work at all. I'm not this person where, oh my God, I can't get my hands dirty. I don't want to touch that. If my vendors, for example, can't get out there for some odd reason, if I can do it, I'm there. And a lot of my clients do appreciate that, because I don't mind doing any of the grunt work if I have to. In addition to that, it's back to being meticulous on certain things. I am a little OCD, so I do like things a certain way, and I tell all my clients that if you want me to help you clear your homes, you better be ready to do it, because then our relationship won't work. So transparency, obviously ethics is huge. Integrity, we have to have all of these principles, and for me, that's my daily mantra. I go out there and I make sure that whatever I'm going to tell my clients is exactly something that I believe in. And if it's a home that I won't buy myself, I'm not going to tell my clients to buy it. So, I always put myself in their shoes, making sure that I do understand what value I do give them and what are the values of the actual property that they are looking for. Because like I said, if I'm not going to buy the property, why would I put my clients in that situation? And then they're going to turn around and go, well, why did you make me do this? Granted, we can't make them do anything, but they do trust us, and they listen to what we tell them. We are the expert. So my, a few items, but transparency is also very, very important. It's okay to tell the clients, how it is. Don't go around the bushes. They don't have the time for that. They just want us to tell them how it is. It's black and white. There is no gray areas, and just be upfront with them.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Ditto. No, I mean, I agree with both of them. I think in this instance, we are one of the same, oftentimes I hashtag myself as not your average agent. And I believe that I'm not. I've purchased 2 of my own homes, and I feel like I am leaps and bounds above the 2 agents that we had used. In terms of somebody I would want to deal with. And there's a reason why I had 2 different agents. I chose not to use them again. And I want people to feel my commitment to them. I recently acquired a buyer who I did not know and was not a referral. And when we got to the point of, starting to plan some showings, she said to me, she goes, oh, well, isn't there a contract or something we should be signing if we're going to work together? And my response to her was, some agents might do that, but I don't. I believe in building a relationship with my clients on mutual respect and loyalty. And I would hope that as much as I'm going to work hard for you and put you and your interest, as a top priority, I hope that you're going to do the same for me, and that we'll close the deal together. And if you don't, well, then you know what? Maybe shame on me for not having that contract, but at the same time, also shame on me because maybe there was something I didn't do to fulfill your needs that you felt you needed to go someplace else. And if that's what happened, well, then I hope that all your needs were met. It's just who I am as a person. And I'm very much the same way of, I don't mind getting dirty. That's why I kind of ditched the professional attire and the professional look of, a blazer and slacks. And my new look is I'm in a casual top and I'm in jeans every day. And that's helpful because if I go to a client's house and I need to, start picking stuff up or helping to pull wallpaper off your wall, which I have done, I will do. I don't worry about whether or not I made my money's worth on this deal. I worry about whether or not they got their money's worth out of me as an agent. So, again, I feel like it's about prioritizing them.
That's awesome stuff. And then Mary and Leslie, we have some construction coming up soon. I'm going to make sure to let you guys know. Yeah, we'll talk later, okay?
I'm there.
Done deal. But you see how each one has different superpowers, right? At the same time, they all deliver the same message of that integrity and place of I want to make sure to deliver the highest level of professionalism and experience to my clients, right? Everyone has different style, but the same kind of sense of direction. And that's pretty much the path of success. And that's why it's so important to share that kind of mindset experience and to learn from one another, right? This little circle. What are the things that from whatever you experienced, until today during pandemic year that, still have kind of a little bit of, it's still kind of here-ish, right? This shift in market. What are the things that you would like to do more of in your business, or that you're planning to do more of in your business? Mary, you go first because you had the biggest smile.
Sorry, we had Rock just walked in the door. So I guess call it the aha moment, right? At least for me. So
right.
It's just, again, being back. So I literally touched onto US soil about less than a year ago. So the whole COVID situation, the way the business has shifted, for me, and it sounds crazy, it was a culture shock because we actually went into lockdown way before the whole country did, because I lived in Dubai. So it was a huge tourist economy, right? I mean, people are in and out. I mean, huge tourism. So we actually went into lockdown so soon. I mean, and we were literally on lockdown for about 6 months out in Dubai. So coming back home was a huge shock for me because, I came back and I mean, each and every single agents are like, yeah, we're killing it. We're performing. And I'm like, how are you even doing this? So, the way business has shifted was pretty phenomenal. So for me, I had to shift my mentality as well. There's no more cold calling because people weren't really, I guess, perceptive to that anymore, right? Like, because everything is so sensitive. Clients were so sensitive. They're like, they don't want to talk about selling their house. They don't even know if they're going to keep their house, or they, God forbid. I mean, some of them lost their jobs. So I had to recalibrate my brain, knowing that, we're in a sensitive situation. So when I did talk to my clients, when I got back, again, back to, I had to be, we had to be empathetic. Like, how are you? What's going on? And just the shift was very dramatic for me. And, and obviously relearning the process and the system and the resources was a challenge as well. But, with the, like I said, with the mentors and people like you, I mean, being able to reach out to agents and just saying, hey, can you help me out in this? Like, what did you do differently? This is how I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure. So I had to utilize the office resource quite heavily in the last 7 months because, it was so different for me. And I've been very fortunate. As soon as I got back and when I got up and running, I literally got my first listing within 2 weeks. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And that kind of that's when I kickstarted my business again and my momentum started flowing. So, so it was it was exciting, but it was very nerve-wracking at the same time. I wasn't sure which direction I was going to go this past, 7 months with my business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that most agents will share the same feelings about it too, even if they're like, didn't move from different place, but still it's kind of, it was kind of slowly going into whatever pandemic is and lockdown and, changing the way we do business. And so it's, interesting still. Thanks for sharing.
Well, and not just that, it's so inspiring. Like, I hope that, everyone that's on here are either, if you're brand new, like, it's so inspiring to see so many amazing agents, like, having their best year while in the middle of everything, right? I mean, that has to be, to me, like, call it a takeaway, but it's just phenomenal. Like, hearing, like, Leslie, you're like, yeah, this is how I do business, and but I'm killing it. And Nina, I mean, your clients, you're like, I can get them to do whatever I want. And I mean, that's so awesome. I mean, be proud of it, right? It's just, to me, again, 4 years in the business, I've seen both sides of the transaction, internationally and domestically, and man, you guys are awesome. Let's just put it that way.
You're awesome. I just want to add to, for me personally, what I would like to do more of is I hired a business coach at the beginning of this year, and that's been like a game changer for me. It's been a game changer. Just learning so much from this coach and implementing a lot of things that I have learned. Cold calling, I'm going to kind of go back to Leslie from earlier. Cold calling was not something that I personally enjoyed doing. When I had started in 2018 and 2019, open houses was my go-to. That's my number one lead gen activity, and it still is now that it's finally back. But I had to change it up because in 2020 with COVID, I said, okay, well, what do I do? Open houses are no longer, and open houses just came back, like a month and a half ago. So I actually, I had to do some things that were uncomfortable, and they say, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And the crazy thing is yes, open houses is still number one. Now I actually like cold calling. And I can't believe I'm saying that because it's so different than being in person and having people come to the home and have that engagement. Whereas when you're calling someone, you really don't know what you're going to get. You know, they're coming to the open house. They're interested for one reason or another, but calling someone, they could have just had a terrible tragedy. You don't know what's going on. So it's always that, I always say, constantly throw out the sunshine. Even if you get the thunderstorm back at you, still keep throwing out the sunshine. And you're going to get a lot of no's, but you're getting closer to a yes. And I've actually had some great traction with it. And I've had some bad. I had one woman say, you must not be that good if you're calling me. And I said, aren't you just a peach? And it just kind of came out, and I couldn't believe I said that. I literally was like, oh, aren't you just a little peach? And then she hung up, and I just was like, whoa, that wasn't supposed to come out. So but it's okay. Because, you know, and it kind of goes back to like, not everyone's going to like you. And maybe it wasn't anything personal, and I didn't take it personal, yet I called her a peach. So it's like, you just kind of go with it and you just have fun. I mean, we're supposed to have fun with this. We love it. This is our industry and we're the masters of our business. You got to have some fun.
So what are you going to do? You're going to have more fun in the business? What are you going to do more of?
So what I'm going to do more of cold calling, and I'm going to do more of having my business coach guide me. I mean, she's got, you know, she's been in this business since she was 17. So she's got years and years of knowledge. And that was actually the best thing that I did for myself at the beginning of this year, was hiring a professional coach. I came back from family reunion with Manny, Stephanie, and the whole gang, and surrounded by all these agents from all over the world. And I just kept hearing, Julie Newman, she's got a coach. This person has a coach. David Abbas is going to get a coach. Many, you got to get a coach. Everyone. And I thought, you know, that's an investment and it's worth it. Sure. And so that for me, I'm definitely going to continue and do more of, and definitely cold calling. I want to get to a place where I just get better and better.
Yeah, well said.
So for myself, there is truth behind you are your worst enemy. I have been known to single-handedly sabotage my own real estate career in the last 2 years. And a lot of that, again, is just not being willing to be out of my comfort zone. During COVID, I found myself just sitting idle, feeling like, if there's really this lack of inventory, is it worth it to me to even market myself in any way, shape, or form when I'm competing with the top agents like Allison out there? Like, what's the point? I'm just wasting my money and I'm wasting my time. And the reality is now I find myself out of this quarantine situation and scrambling to find clients because I didn't do what I should have done all of that time. You know, I lost traction, I lost momentum. And for me, I need to reevaluate my business and my plan. And moving forward, I need to make sure that I always have something in the works. You know, I did do some business coaching when I first came on board. And honestly, then it was a waste of money because no matter what he said, I didn't take his advice. Now I'm looking back at my notes and using those to reevaluate how I'm going to do business moving forward. And I'm slowly starting to implement some of those things, right? I am doing some cold calling, maybe not as much as I should be, but anything is better than nothing. I am doing some door knocking. I am getting reconnected with my neighborhood. I am the neighborhood watch captain, and I use that to my advantage to build relationships amongst, 453 neighbors. It's a resource pool that I can use. I have to start getting creative because my kids are all adults now. So there is no more PTA moms to lean on and, build from and get referrals from. There is no more sports programs. All of those are gone. And, my kids, even though they're young adults, their friends aren't quite at that age yet where they're prepared to buy. But this is my opportunity to build relationships with them so that when they are, maybe I'm the one that they come to as, a trusted advisor. So, again, don't sabotage yourself. Don't be what stands in your way of success. Find a way to work through those things and just forge forward.
I agree.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff, Leslie. And it just also shows you that, thanks for sharing and be open about it, that the grass is always greener where you water it, right? Simple as that, right? And then it's kind of cool that right now you're even brave enough, or someone, been brave, but been well, that for sure, but also courageous, right? You have the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to open the notes from when this guy told me so and so, and I'm going to implement that, right? It just another element of success is humility, right? Just to say, I have the experience, but maybe tomorrow I don't really know how to go about whatever it is. Let me embrace again whatever I learned and implement things that could be different. And when of course, you always have to have the confidence, right? It's part of what will give you, success faster, to have the confidence in your ability to deliver the value that you stand behind, even if you do not really know 100%, don't memorize paragraph 24, second row, what it said, right? You don't need to remember, to have that kind of memory, but you have to have the confidence. And the rest, of course, and like all of you mentioned beautifully, is to consistently perfect the way of how to go after business and have fun in the process, have the integrity to find my way, have to be brave enough, courageous enough to implement different things if I don't like it, right? When I first took Bold, I've learned in 3-4 weeks within Bold that I'm probably the worst cold caller in the group, out of like 60 people in that group, for sure. The worst accent, the worst scripts, like don't even do it. But I did open 3 escrows, right? Whoever not doing Bold, shame on you. So not over here. I'm just gonna, making very dramatic. But you get my point, right? So kind of, last round, if you have anything kind of just to throw at us and in advance, once again, I mean, you ladies are powerful and amazing, and everything you shared today, I think resonates with pretty much everybody. So kind of, quick run if you want to share something, I
don't know who all likes to read, but I definitely would highly suggest a couple of books.
Awesome.
I love to read, and I feel that, I love to eat. So we all love food, and we're always constantly feeding our body with yummy foods and sometimes not so yummy foods. Well, we need to feed our mind too. We need to constantly be growing and learning. And there's a great book by Jim Rohn, The Art of Exceptional Living. And this book, for me, I can't even tell you how many times I've read it. First of all, he's fantastic. Jim Rohn is just like amazing man. He is actually the one that taught Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins actually learned underneath Jim Rohn. So he's just an amazing speaker, great author, and he actually has it on Audible too, if that's easier for some of you, and he narrates it. So it's just, it talks about really just everything with your mindset and how to be. So there's one thing that I actually wrote down that I just wanted to, this is from the book. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. For me, that's like, it gives me goosebumps. It just, everything that he says just resonates with you. And it just really comes down to, everything comes down to your mindset.
Mhm.
Everything. So even if it's something that you think, I don't know if I can do it, you can. You just have to practice until you get better. You have to be open to it. Your mind controls everything. And sometimes when we're babies and we're kids, we're like, I can jump off that tree. I don't mind if I break my leg. I'm not even thinking I'm gonna break my leg. I'm gonna jump off that tree. Oh, mommy, I broke my hand, I broke my leg. They're so fearless because they just know they can do it. But as adults, we get to a place where we now have these fears placed on us because of the different life experiences. And I just encourage everyone to just give yourself half an hour a day to just read something. And it doesn't have to be just real estate focus. It could be your mindset to help with self-improvement. It could be something fun, but try to go with something for self-improvement. Just 30 minutes a day, give yourself that self-improvement. And I promise you, if you can just give yourself that, you will see changes. That changes that will not just help your business, but that will help your personal life, will help you just fruitfully all over in all areas of your life. For me personally, this is like mandatory that I have that time. And that's actually part of my personal time. So I encourage that book and another one, because I have a list, but another one would be Ninja Selling. Larry Kendall, this is a fantastic book. And it really just covers that us agents, us businessmen, businesswomen, we have to perfect the art of listening. Not listening to respond, listening to understand. Listening to understand. Even when there's that pause, take it in, maybe repeat it. So those are my nuggets. I'm here if you guys want to connect. I'd love to connect personally with both Mary and Leslie. You guys are phenomenal agents.
Good job. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Leslie.
I don't have any great pearls of wisdom such as Nina. I hate to read, but I will check out the 2 books you offered up and see what they're about, maybe the audio versions. And as far as like tackling your business on a day-to-day type situation, I follow the mantra of God only gives us what we can handle. And so when I am faced with one more additional task in that day, no matter how overwhelmed I feel, I take it on head on, simply for that reason. I know that there's a reason why it's come to me, whatever that is, a proposition, an issue, something that needs to be resolved, whatever it is. I just reprioritize what's on my plate for that day and include it on my list because I know that there's a reason that it has to be addressed. And somewhere along the way, I know that they will all get crossed off my to-do list, and I'll be better for it. I got a call. So we did a little session here, Mehdi, when you were here with Fritz, and we talked about that golden letter.
Right.
And, it kind of came up because I follow a few Facebook groups and saw that somebody had been doing this and was getting pretty positive results from it. So I got out of my own head. I wrote the letter. I squeezed it into my budget and I sent them out. And within 2 weeks, I had a hit and I had a listing appointment. So it did work, but I had to get out of my own head to get there, right? And then yesterday, I got a call from somebody else from those letters. And although that one didn't go as well, you have to look at the little blessings when you're faced with these things. The call was, I'm not really sure why he called because he really had no intention of selling his house. But I think he was curious. And, his response was, well, I've been here for 43 years and I'm going to die here. And so I responded with, well, do you know when that will be? So it sparked this laugh between us,
Right.
because I don't think he was expecting that response. And in the end, I said to him, and I said, well, he said, hopefully not so soon. And I said, well, I'm not hoping it's so soon for you either. How about I call you in 3 months and see how you're doing? And he said that would be great. So if nothing else, I got a lead from this awkward phone call, and so again, I see it as a blessing, even though it probably wasn't the ideal response. So just, focus on the little things.
Yeah, that's a new story to us and our stories, right? Just to share with other people. And it's funny, like if I would make that phone call and he would respond that, I would consider as a friend right away, because it's there's like instant connection, right? And that's cool. Yeah. So thanks for sharing, Leslie. Mary.
Yeah, well, same. Not a lot of word of wisdoms, but I do go by one quote that I absolutely I feel like not just in our business, but as a human being. It's by the Dalai Lama. So Dalai Lama stated that love and compassion are necessities. They're not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. I mean, we live in a very strange world, and some can say we live in a very scary world. Just go out there with compassion, irregardless of who you're talking to, irregardless of how they look. Just know that we are all struggling with something, whether that's multiple things or one thing. Just go out there, be kind. A smile goes a long way. Depending on who it is, give them a hug. I mean, you guys. So quick story. I was at a grocery store yesterday. I was actually at Trader Joe's upstairs. And this very, very sweet lady, and I probably shouldn't do that because she was a lot older and with COVID, but she just looked so sad. And I was with my husband, and I just ran up to her and gave her a hug. And she literally just looked at me. She was so taken back. She started crying. And I go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why. I just felt like you needed a hug. And she's like, I did, because I just lost my husband. I mean, that's just crazy. And then my husband looked at me and he was like, you shouldn't have done that because we're in the middle of COVID, and you're not wearing your mask. But I'm like, yeah, but she needed that. What do you want me to do? But again, right, just compassion is so important. We're human beings. Again, we're all going through something. Just know that, just be patient with a lot of people. Be kind for me at least, we try to. Granted, there are people out there that are not kind, and that's okay too. Just let them roll off your backs and we move on to the next person, because one unkind person, there's about 100 others that are kind, and they need us. So
I was on mute. Awesome stuff, guys, right? Yeah. Harry, sorry.
No, it's not a little heavy, but.
Well, I can't thank you enough for that content. And if you don't mind, just if you would like, Mary, Leslie, Nina, type in your just name and best way to reach out to you, email or phone number. If someone like just want to reach out and connect or what have you, and of course between the two, I'm going to make this this three the connection between the three of you. But I can't thank you enough for sharing that kind of mindset and insight, experience, be vulnerable, funny, open, right, and whatever it is. And once again, a year from today, we're going to have the same mastermind and hear more good stuff and see where you're at in life and in business. And once again, thank you for sharing, and thanks everybody for whoever showed up in the classrooms, wherever you guys are, and keep it up. Bold is coming up. Regards to Bold, if you're doing it, if you're not doing it, keep pushing, keep practicing on a daily basis, 7 days a week. You heard Leslie, Mary, and I was proud of you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.